Jessica, do you get like a brewing card at staff? Yes, you do too. For what? Well, I want to get one for you at Kava, but you pay it's a brewing card. Oh.
Oh. Hello, Chloe.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, wow. Hey, how are you?
Two for one? I was joking that we should post it on the Usac page as a service to all students.
How's everything going? How many people have been coming?
Well, I mean, we've had quorum every meeting except for the last. The last three.
We've had 18 minutes. Can you two get here? Are you two good? Huh? We've had 5 minutes. We have quorum for 2. We have 3 minutes that we need to approve. Yeah. We have minutes approved because we have a quorum. You'll see.
Yeah. As of now.
I kind of keep up with it, like I have so far. Tomorrow I have my SAT, so I think I'm gonna like couldn't be late after that. And then besides that, like I think usually like I work faster, but then like I keep having to stop because I got a call, like an email and stuff like that because he's like her husband, she's working with him for like 5 months, and I want to give up like the citizenship to the mom. So now like she's forced to be having to call her all the time. Like, so, yeah. Come on, man. Come on.
Oh yeah, no, on sheet factor.
Yeah.
One, two, three, four, five. Are there 2 people on?
The quiz, I feel good about the quiz unless.
Yeah, you got walking top.
The quiz should be good. The paper should be good. I feel like it's all power and lucky, especially.
Okay. Yeah, I need to do that with you guys. Just stay right there's a lot. Hold on 1 second.
That's how okay. That sounds good.
I'll just come back.
Yeah, come back.
Cards Against Humanity, let's do it.
Hold on.
Cool, hang out. Do you mind?
Hold on, I'll let y'all go. Oh, come on. I'm like, where did you go? Okay. I just need you guys to put this out. Real quick. quick. Thank you for finding me. Hi, how are you?
Oh, that's my boyfriend.
What's up? Welcome. What's your name?
Julian.
Julian Saran. Nice to meet you. Okay, awesome. And then, do you want your game back? I mean, I was gonna see if you play.
No, yeah, you guys can play. Yeah,
Okay.
as long as no one loses anything.
Yeah, no, they're just right there.
Just those three. Yeah, we have a lot of games at home, so I'm like, I'm gonna take three.
Yeah, and Raheem has life now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah, I don't know about Valley Pass from.
we just took my thing, and this is just if anyone trusts you guys. And then it's just till 10 p.m. So, okay. Just make sure you have that, okay?
Okay, cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
I live in Twitter.
Hi. Oh, nice. I have to pee. Okay.
Ride or die with
She got me like here. Yeah.
I'll just talk to you about it.
What is it about?
To order or
This is her name. I mean, I know you gotta be. I give it in full detail. I don't
No, leaving nothing.
What is this?
Okay. Shit. I gotta pee.
Our conversation.
Why are you trying to think of our conversation?
Then a 3. CSC.
Thank you.
Right?
He's also here.
Oh, Chloe's there too? Okay, great. Welcome back, Aaron. SWC. TSR.
There you go. There's a fucking issue. No. I'm gonna talk to the supervisor. You around. You need some water. No, this is really out of my power, I swear to God. We need some water. You know what? You should go to AAP and be like, AAP, y'all
Any
need
amendments to the agenda?
Yes. I would add.
Even today, I have my conversation like, how we treat you. I
No.
forgot about the water. I should have been like.
Hold on, I'll be there. Next question. For dining? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not gonna walk by the phone with
Because
Donna.
one time I went there and they denied me. Oh,
Chloe, can you hear us? Thumbs up or can you hear us?
I'm not
I
sure.
can hear you, but it's really hard because there's a lot of background noise.
Sorry.
If you
They talking about there's no water in here. Don't you need water?
It might be your volume, would you mind muting it while you aren't speaking, just because we're catching a lot of it on the side?
Yeah.
Great, fantastic. So I'm just going to start over. David, just so you know, we have one amendment to the agenda, and it's to strike the FSC report. So Aaron moved to approve the agenda, and Vivi seconded, so we're doing the roll call vote. So IVP,
Yes.
EVP,
Yes.
AAC,
Yes.
great, CSC,
Yes.
facilities, FSC,
Yes.
SWC, and TSR.
Yes, present.
Thank you. So, seeing as all council members present have voted affirmatively, we will now approve the agenda. Given that we do have a quorum tonight, which is very exciting, we will have the opportunity to approve the minutes from July 25th, August 1st, and August 10th. Hopefully, you all saw that there were updates to each of those minutes that Pavan sent out. We're excited to have you back. So just to remind you all, if you were not present for any of those meetings, it's best practice to abstain when voting, given that you weren't there and can't approve or confirm what was said. Can we now have a motion to approve the minutes from, we're gonna go one at a time just because there were different council members in attendance at different meetings. So can we have a motion to approve the minutes from July 25th, 2017? Thank you, Divya. Second, Zara, thank you. We're going to go through the vocal roll call just to confirm. IVP? Yes. EVP?
Abstain.
Gen Rep 1? Yes. Thank you. AAC?
Yes.
CSC?
Yes.
Facilities?
Yes.
FSC?
Same.
SWC?
Yes.
And TSR?
Abstain.
So by a vote of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 0 to 3, this motion passes and we approve our minutes from July 25th, 2017. We're now going to move to approve the August 1st minutes. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes from August 1st? Thank you, Vivi. Second. Thank you, Zara. We're going to go through the vocal roll call one more time. August 1st. IVP? Yes. EVP?
Abstain.
Gen Rep 1?
Yes.
AAC? Great. CSC?
Yes.
Facilities?
Abstain.
FSC?
Same.
SWC? TSR?
Abstain.
So by a vote of 1, 2, perfect. By a vote of 5 to 0 to 4, the motion stands and we have approved the minutes from August 1st, 2017. 0 to 4. Great. And we'll now move on to the minutes from August 10th, 2017. That was last week's meeting. Can we have a motion to approve those minutes? Thank you, Vivi. Second. Thank you, Zahra. We're going to go through the roll call one more time. IVP? Yes. EVP?
Abstain.
Gen Rep 1?
Yes.
AAC? CSC?
Yes.
Facilities?
Yes.
FSC?
Same.
SWC? And TSR?
Abstain.
Okay. So by a vote of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 0 to 3, this motion passes as well. Great, so we've now approved all those minutes. Thank you everyone for coming so we could have that. We're now going to move on to public comment. Just a reminder to us all, we have 30 minutes allotted for public comment. Every public commenter will have 2 minutes to share. When there's 10 seconds left, we can put the gavel to the table, and that's a warning that to finish up your last sentence. Our first round of public comment, given that we do public commentary today, I believe, is going to be audio only. So we're going to cut the video for a minute. And I will begin our time at 7:09 p.m. Thank you. We're going to begin over here, going around the room. This is audio only, public comment. Seeing none, we're now going to move on to audio and video public comment. Thank you, Vivi. And actually, give me 1 second to get a timer after you. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, everybody. My name is Marsha. I'm the BPA Center for the Graduate Student Association here at UCLA. I'm here on behalf of the Graduate Student Association. We're very excited to work with you all for next year. There's a lot of amazing work that we've already been doing with some of you all in partnerships. And there's a lot more work that we're looking forward to doing next year. Our office is right across the hall from Usac, so if you ever need anything, we're literally right in there. Usually I'm like 24/7 there, so feel free to let us know if you need anything and if you need any partnerships from the graduate side. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great. Seeing as there are no other public commenters in the room, we're going to close our public comment session at 7:10 p.m. We're going to move on from special presentations and appointments straight to officer member reports, beginning with the President's office. First, I want to start off by thanking those who tabled at the orientation session this week. The forum seems to be really effective. I want to thank you all for approving that email to be sent out soon. It'll be sent out hopefully either later tonight or tomorrow morning. Hopefully that'll give incoming students the opportunity to interface with us during the summer. In regards to the office, we had a meeting with Dr. Yolanda Gorman, who's Special Advisor to the Chancellor for Strategic Initiatives earlier this week. She was responsible for creating the 4 task forces that were tasked with looking at our strategic planning for the coming year. There were 4 students involved on each. There was 1 student on each of those task forces that had the opportunity to be one of them. The strongest feedback we got was that we needed more student engagement in that process. Some of the initiatives she's planning on working on the coming year, if anyone's interested in collaborating with her, is obviously campus-wide strategic planning, engagement with the VA and local veteran population, and opportunities for entrepreneurship and innovation beyond just the STEM field. She's a wonderful person to meet with, and anybody who wants that connection, let me know. We also met with Dean of UCLA College, Pat Turner, just to intro. We talked a lot about enrollment in academia. I also related the idea that was brought up last week regarding the alerts during pastimes so that students are aware of those things. She said she was definitely interested in that, so I would definitely follow up if you want to keep pushing that. What else came up? There were concerns about how the national climate is going to affect students' academia and academic performance on campus, and so it's good to know that that's on the administration's radar, and there was really an emphasis on research. So Saran, I think it would be nice if you wanted to reach out to her specifically about your research initiative as well. We met with a staffer from Senator Ben Allen's office, who also happened to be a former Usac president, David McCarsley, to talk about David also serves in leadership at the Price School USC, so talking about what student responses are in Charlottesville and how we can create a cohesive, if there is an opportunity to do so, response or healing space, both on our campus, on their campus, and with Senator Allen's office. Regarding Charlottesville, I want to say thank you to all the council members that were able to come together and put out a statement so quickly. Obviously got a lot of attention. I think it meant a lot to a lot of our students. Additionally, there was a statement that was put out on behalf of the Council of Presidents that we are very proud to have been a part of, and an additional statement with signatures from over 130 student body presidents from across the nation. So it's, I think, been really reassuring to see so many student leaders take the opportunity to practice moral leadership in a time where people really need it. I want to go on the record and look at all of you and say that it's been a difficult time for us all, and I'm sure we're all struggling with it in different ways. So if anybody needs a little extra support in the coming weeks, I want you to know that I am here. My office is here as well. I want to make sure that we say their names here. Heather Hayer, Lieutenant Jay Cullen, Trooper Pilot Berkey Bates, who lost their lives this past weekend. We're thinking of them, and our hearts are with all who are injured and those who are still fighting in Charlottesville and around the nation. If anyone's interested in thinking more critically about how we can have more dialogue, more healing spaces, and more actions in regards to that on campus, I'm definitely interested in having that conversation as well. So please reach out.
Could we have a minute of silence for them right now?
Yeah, that would be great. Do you want to stand? Potentially? No? No worries. Thank you for the recommendation, Zara. Any questions regarding the presidential report? Great. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Who did you say was putting together the strategic planning committee?
So Dr. Foreman, along with the professor's name is blanking to me now, but I'm happy to send it to you. There were 4 different task forces, each focusing on different components. One of them happened to be like institutional research opportunities and innovation. So I believe the reality is they're very faculty and professor focused. So having one student presented made it difficult to really convey those opportunities, and all those task forces came together and had presentations, which made it that much more obvious that the recommendations were faculty focused. And so I believe they will be releasing those updates mid-fall quarter, and there'll be an opportunity for student engagement. And we may want to look into creating a space and forum for students to provide feedback collectively. Any other questions? Seeing none, we're going to move on to IVP.
So Ariel, I and Jessica met with our Usac webmaster, and hopefully he will come up with something on before September 12th, and he will present it on council meeting. The Usac retreat will be on September 19th, which is 1 week before week 0. It's a Tuesday. It will be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and an hour break, and then we have council meeting at 7 p.m. I sent out the schedule to all of you guys, and basically will be administrative presentations in the morning, and then some fun bylaw quizzes, and then other presentations, and then we will have lunch together. After that will be office updates. We will, like, each of us will present what we're working on for next year and find out what we can help each other on. And that's all for me.
Any questions?
Oh, for the website, what were some of the recommendations that were made for the general? If it's not long, then you can just send it.
Definitely the calendar for everyone, and just like a format, like how the layout, we can change like the tabs right now. Currently we have 5, I think. We're gonna change the name of the tab and maybe add more tabs.
Okay.
And then clean up a lot of things, like update. And, yeah.
We also talked about updating the photos, thinking more critically about the resources we provide, and creating spaces for student group resources, but also student resources too, and thinking about that dichotomy as well.
Also on there's like a tab that says like ask us if there's like a contact us thing. If we end up doing the listserv, we could just like.
Any other questions? Thank you, Vivi. Moving on to EVP. Oh, sorry, Dr. Yellen.
With the retreat, as the plan is coming together, is there any opportunity for any administrators to do any training, or is all the time booked?
It's not booked. It will be 6 administrators. Yeah, they're 20 minutes each for 2 hours.
Great.
So please sign up for it if you want to. And we will send emails to administrators as well.
Any other questions? Great. Now we're moving on to EVP.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'm at the airport right now, so if you hear any announcements in the back, apologies in advance for that. Couple things. Most of what I had I sent out in the email last week, but I just have a couple things for this week. First, I'm going to start with federal issues. So August 15th, so 2 days ago, was the 5th anniversary of the package of DACA. And as part of that, President Napolitano issued a editorial or an opinion piece in the Washington Post, basically calling on the federal administration to continue to support DACA since the clock is ticking until we hit that September 5th deadline. And so at this end of August, we organized a SoCal lobbying trip. So we'll be going with UCR, UCI, and also UCSB, potentially UCSD as well, to a trip to Senator Feinstein's office to discuss immigration. And then we'll also be making in-district lobbying visits with our own office beginning of next week. And then we had a delegation come back from USSA this past Monday. And so we will be debriefing once I get back to campus in terms of the efficacy of that space and how useful they felt it was having USSA as a federal advocacy resource. And so I will keep you all posted on that. On state issues, mostly in this past week, we've been focusing a lot on housing in particular. And so we've been working to build a relationship with an organization called Abundant Housing LA. And this is a group that's dedicated toward advocating for more sustainable housing development practices and lowering rents. So tonight they have a state housing reform event with State Assembly Member Richard Bloom and Senator Scott Wiener. And basically, the purpose of the event is to discuss a package of housing reform bills that they will be moving forward once the state recess ends after August 21st. And so 2 of our staff members are going to the event to kind of just ask specific questions about how this package of bills could potentially impact our campus. And so we'll be using that to decide whether or not we want to lobby on the specific legislation. And then next week, we're going to have a strategizing call with this organization and a couple other entities to figure out how we can pursue specific goals. On UCSA stuff, UCSA as a collective organization also released a statement last week on Charlottesville. And then, let's see, we also have the Regents meeting coming up September 13th and 14th. And I think this is a really important meeting to really have us show up, because the Regents only ever have 2 meetings a year that aren't at UCSF, and only one of those ever takes place in SoCal. And so to have a meeting with the Regents actually take place at UCSD, which is relatively close by compared to SF, is a pretty rare opportunity. And so we're organizing cars and people to go, and we can reimburse for gas. And so if you have a car or you're interested and you're willing to drive, or you're interested in going, please let me know, since we want to get that scheduled and prepared. And then finally, I was at UCSA today. So I just got back from Oakland because we are hiring a new university affairs director. And so this would be the person that would be a full-time staffer responsible for essentially liaisoning on behalf of the students and working with the regents. And then just in terms of a couple quick campus updates, yesterday, Divya and I, as well as other folks from SLAP and as ASME, attended a sanctuary campus meeting with the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, and I'll let Divya talk more about that. And then I think I also mentioned this in my email last week, but I also represented the EVP office in a collective bargaining session that the Ronald Reagan ballet workers had with UCLA administration. And I'm sure you all have heard about the situation, but the long story short of that is that essentially UCLA is firing 80 plus ballet workers and trying to replace them with student workers, but for much lower wages, and for and students also don't qualify for benefits. And so we're really fighting to make sure that we're supporting these workers, since the workers always support us when it comes to our activism and campus advocacy. So yeah, that's it on my end.
Any questions for Chloe? Thank you, Chloe. We're going to move on to the academic affairs.
Hi, everyone. I just want to open up. Oh, hi, everyone. I just want to open up with saying the things that happened in Charlottesville really affected a lot of things in general, and I'm sure it affected a lot of us in general. So if anyone does want to talk or text or call, please let me know. But I just want to say that we are working very hard in the commission to make sure that we address issues of anti-Blackness and racism on this campus, and make sure that we do that as well with the UC Academic Code, because that is a tool that we can utilize to make sure that other academic affairs commissioners can do the same type of thing within their school as well. So, okay, we got some cool stuff. Or it's like dry, but it's cool anyway. So academic class planning, they're compiling a list of concerns for enrollment classes. Recently, a physics class was just canceled. We have a lot of students that are complaining about that certain class and that certain professor, because we do want, within STEM fields, there is difficulty in finding a series of classes at the same time so you can continue your work. So we're compiling a list of that, and then we're sending it over to, I think, Yolanda Copeland-Morgan. She's the Chancellor of Enrollment, and then we're going to try and also work and push for the priority enrollment of parenting students, and then also give an incentive for carpooling students that are coming into fall as well. So we're going to talk to the registrar, and the proposal for priority enrollment of parenting students has already gone through, and then I'll fill you in on when that happens. Academic facilities, our Powell activity log will be live in fall, so the numbers of we're going to be able to access the numbers of each hour of how many students are in Powell, because they do count of it, and that will be public information on the library website. And then we have a couple things within the academic facilities thing. We have a fun one that I've been working on. So I love to cook, and so I made a cookbook called Less Than 15. It's meals that take less than 15 minutes that cost less than $15. So you have 25 meals right now. We're going to post on the Academic Affairs site and make sure that we'll be adding to it all summer and make it a rolling Google Doc kind of thing, so students will be able to just look at meals and try and make them. Food insecurity is super real, and I don't think that UCLA is doing enough to combat that. I know that we were just named the second public university, but those numbers mean nothing when our students are still food and housing insecure. And then the drafting sessions for these study spaces are being set right now, and I'll inform council on when those are so we can all come together. I know a lot of the time when we have sessions that are specific to USAC initiatives, we kind of only have a couple people come, but I do want to invite all these different offices, so we have different people coming in. We're teaming up with the DESMA department to rethink what study spaces should look like on our technologically advanced campus. And then we're also utilizing the study space that we're making within our own office, using the data that we have from the, when we open it up in fall, students will be able to use the academic affairs office as a study space. We will be having office hours or study hours open. You'll be able to swipe their room card on an iPad, and then we use that data for the whole quarter of fall, and we present it to capital funding with our 3 drafts that we would have with student-initiated, like students coming in and talking about different study spaces in the DESMA department, and then throw it at capital funding and be like, hey, students created a study space, and this is how much, like, they used it within fall quarter. We should do more to prioritize student needs and study spaces in general. And I'll use these things here. And let's see. Oh, fill me in if anyone has anything to give away for the notebook drive. It's the first 2 days of school. We're giving away 250 notebooks. The first day, and the second day 250, so 500 in total. I know CBC signed up for pens, but if anyone has anything, please feel free to give it away. And then, so academic senate update. Eco 360 progress is going well. What's going to happen with that and the experiments that are going on right now during the C session is professors are going to give their own testimony of how the program went for them and student perspective as well. And then at the end of that, they're gonna compile those testimonies and like kind of the highlighted quotes of all those and put those within the opt-in email for students or for professors that broadcast classes. So then they would be able to see a professor say, hey, you know, this program really works. It was simultaneously casting 87% accuracy. My students really liked it. I really liked it as well. And I think it would be a great time to like really switch over to this program and opt into broadcasting classes in general. We'll also add the members of we were able to access broadcasted classes for about students that were, classes that were over 100 students, and then for the same class that it was not broadcasted for. So then we have those logs of the, what's it called when you finish a class and you have to do the evaluation. So we have those evaluations available, and then we're also going to put the percentages of students that thought they were going to get A's compared to the students that weren't going to think they were going to get A's with the non-broadcasted classes. And those numbers are amazing to look at. Oh, and then we also, sorry, this is so long, but we do so much, y'all. And so then we're also working with SWC, my girl Christina, for our resource list to finally push for syllabi resources to be on most syllabi. It'll also be opt-in. So professors will get an email of the resource list that we'll have available, and then they would be able to add it to the syllabi to be able to have that. We are revisiting bylaws for both our funds, specifically the travel grant, because a lot of students, we're going to team up with the ABP to also talk about conferences and academic conferences in general and give those to students so then they're able to apply to the travel grant and know that there are available conferences coming up that they can apply to, because usually a lot of students don't apply to that. And then also we're opening up to explicitly allowing students to, and we talked to the solar about it as well, students that are unable to.
Remaining passengers.
What's that? What? Sorry, this is so a lot. But I just want to make sure everyone knows that. Okay, so we're also teaming up to explicitly allow students that are going to grad school to fly up to their grad school and take their interviews, because that's also academic advocacy, and we need to make sure that we're prioritizing our students that need to do that and go to grad school and go to higher ed. And then finally, our Secretary of Access is working on grants for high school students. All the access projects, as we all know, work with high school students and students that are in a lot of marginalized backgrounds. And a lot of the time, students within marginalized backgrounds don't have the money to get SAT prep, or take the test. So what we're working on with our Secretary of Finance and our Secretary of Access is getting grants for those students so they're able to take their SATs or prep for them within a class. And then what we're also doing is compiling a list of students that were out of those access projects that came to UCLA, their statistics, their GPAs, their test scores, their essays, and then we're going to be presenting them to students that are juniors within spring for our global access project. Within all the different access projects will have a specific statistic and different SAT scores and GPAs that they'll be able to present to the students that are looking to apply the next year in the freshman that are coming in. So they know what classes to take at their specific high schools and their specific projects, would know what kind of things that they should be aiming for within their students as well. So does anyone have any questions? I think I went over everything.
For the study space that you plan to have in AAC, how many students would be able to study in this?
11.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, hopefully quick turnover, but like, we'll see how quickly study, you know? Because we want a lot of green cards. We should honestly, I shouldn't say this on the record, but like, we should like, just come in and swipe it. Because like, honestly, we're also gonna have bonus events every Wednesday. I didn't talk about that, but every Wednesday, come into the office, grab a bagel, have fun, mingle with me. We're also gonna be inviting different campus entities every Wednesday. So the undergraduate writing center is our first one on our first Wednesday. So helping out with resumes, helping out with your essays, things like that. And then we're also going to be inviting different other campus entities as well. So we're not only utilizing the space as a study space, but every Wednesday we'll have food, and then we'll also have a different campus entity. So we introduce students on the centralized, like Kirkhoff is very centralized, to a different resource that they may not have known about, because I didn't know about the undergraduate writing center until I met her. She was like, oh, dope, I'll come through. And I was like, I'll bring the bagels, you bring the
So
yeah.
is the data going to be presented like this when people swiped in?
Yeah, so the data is going to be like, this is how many students swiped in, and this is how many repeat customers, but also like, you know, we need to get like, tell your friends, tell your cousins that I have a green card, like, let them all know, because we do need that type of, like, we need to make sure that we throw it at administration and capital funding and be like, hey, this is something we should be investing in, because a lot of students have used this random study space with some random resource every week. And if students are able to initiate it, then like, you should be able to invest in it. You got the money. But yeah, oh, finally, Sanctuary Campus. Beautiful. Okay, so as Chloe talked about, we just got out of a meeting yesterday, and so everyone knows or has read the list of demands, correct? Hopefully. If you haven't, I can email it to you, just let me know, because it's important that we all are on the same page about this. For all the list of demands, they have waited about 7 months to respond, and their response was real cute. With each of our demands, it was at least a copy and paste of what already exists on campus. Administration did not actually create anything different. They did not actually combat any of the things that we were trying to combat, and they did not like really add any resources, which was pretty sad. And I can pass this around. They gave us, and I'll make this very clear, they gave this to us right when the meeting started. They did not email this packet to us before the meeting, because they wanted to waste time and be like, hey, here's a packet, go with this, like keep the hour going and ask us questions about this instead of keeping us on our agenda that we had prepared beforehand. So that's what we're going against with administration with all of this. Please let me know if anyone wants to join in on what's happening with it. Audrey Francis put out she's the Undersecretary of Sanctuary Campus within the Academic Affairs Commission. She put out a Google form so anyone can sign up and know. She needs like writers, she needs policymakers, she needs policy researchers and stuff like that, just to make sure that this is as concrete as possible and we can get it pushed. Fall is dedicated to our campaign on Sanctuary Campus. We'll get shirts. Let me know what size you all are so I can get all of y'all shirts. But we need to make sure that we push, and also working with Nicole on a resolution as well. With that resolution, we're going to also forward it to the Academic Guild, which is like all the UC Academic Affairs officers. They're going to be working on their resolution that's similar to ours, and then we're trying to push it on the same day. Because the UC claims that they're autonomous and they are able to enact policy without the state's jurisdiction. So we don't have to be a sanctuary state to enact policy of being a sanctuary campus. So if the UCs, and what the problem with UCLA, there are many, But the main problem with this is that UCLA doesn't want to be the first one. They're like, oh, we don't want to do it without the other UCs being on board. But the problem with that is like we claim that we're change makers, but we're not making change in reality. But if we have our sister campuses coming together and saying, hey, this is a resolution that we're trying to pass as well, it will put more pressure on the UCOP to enact the sanctuary campus policy.
On all UCs?
Yeah, what we're working on right now is defining, because apparently they don't know what the definition is of the sanctuary campus, which this is the definition of it. These demands embody what a sanctuary campus is. What we're going to be doing is passing it through the council to make sure that we can, I feel like it'll tell you a little making sure that we can really like push this. And so every week of fall, we'll have a fun, but like we'll have a different like movie screen, we'll have a petition sign, we'll have an action. We're going to make sure that students know what a sanctuary campus is, because it matters. Okay, I'm done. Time.
Any questions? Question slash recommendation. I recommend meeting with Tim Turner. I think she would be very interested in hearing a lot of the data that you have.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Deb hit me or hooked me up with Patrick.
Great.
She's Deb.
Definitely got that. And then I do want to say too that, and this is not directed to you anyway, but I am going to ask on behalf of the Jewish community. It feels a lot like when we talk about what's happening in Charlottesville. When we talk about white supremacy and neo-Nazism, we should talk. We often erase the fact that neo-Nazism does affect the Jewish community in a very specific way, given history. And so we absolutely should talk about anti-Black racism, but I do want us also to be cognizant of anti-Semitism within that realm as well. Great. Student Wellness Commissioner.
Okay. Thank you all. From that, we are starting to plan for Health Coming, which is our annual fall kickoff event for SWC. Last year it was called Welfare, but we're switching it back to Health Coming for history's sake. So we're very excited for that. It will hopefully be happening within the first week. And then we are also looking over our SWC programming fund. Yes, programming fund right now to hopefully open it before the summer ends, a little bit earlier than we normally do, and likely it'll be open by the end of the month, so hopefully students can have access to that application and that resource. Our Sexperts Committee is planning on attending the Amber Rose Slut Walk this year to take away the power from derogatory labels like slut, which is going to help to promote sexual self-awareness and work against slut shaming. And that's also happening October 1st of this year, so if you would like to join, let me know, and I also might have a coupon code for you. And let's see. Our CPR committee is also now offering BLS classes for CPR, so that's kind of like a more comprehensive CPR course than our Heartseeker course, and it is currently the most affordable one on campus if you are interested in being CPR certified. And then we are also potentially joining a conference this fall with LAUSD. It's a 4-youth and 5-youth health advocacy conference for mostly high school students, and it's going to be perhaps workshops by some of our committees to give a college student perspective. Then aside from that, just want to remind all of us that these events that we've had over this last week are not necessarily concentrated within just Charlottesville or Barcelona, and we have to continue to work within our own spaces and our own campuses, continue to check ourselves and our privilege, just to help to improve the spaces that we're currently in. And yeah, hope you're all taking care of yourselves. I know I said that already, but just to reiterate. Okay, any questions?
Thank you, Christina. We're now going to facilities.
All right. So I posted a picture in the group, but I can pass this around as well. Met with UCLA Transportation today to discuss how they're going to be placing the designated stops for Lyft and Uber. So they solidified the deal with Lyft. They're almost ready to solidify with Uber, and the designated stops were based on a skeleton that they had during commencement, which had 6 stops. and they added a couple more around like turnarounds and other areas on campus. They said that in terms of students with disabilities, what they've done is they've worked with the CAE to make sure that there are taxi vouchers available for students, and then also the CSO van service, which runs from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Mondays to Thursdays. If you're a student with a disability, you can call the CSO van service, and then they'll be able to pick you up from anywhere instead of their normal designated stops. However, the service still runs from Monday to Thursday, so Fridays and weekends are not covered by the CAE van or by the CSO van service. So that's also something to think about. With the stops themselves, they said that each of the stops are around 5 minutes from major campus buildings. And they said that with pickups, those would be heavily enforced and the drivers would get cited if they don't comply. But with drop-offs, they're a lot more flexible because with drop-offs, they're not, they're there for like 30 seconds max, whereas with pickups, you have 5 minutes to stay there and wait for the student. So at this point, the only thing I can really push for is to have more stops or change the stops that are currently on here. So if any of you have any recommendations as to where the designated stop should be, please let me know. This is going to be implemented in the fall quarter. They're going to have physical signage where the designated stops are in order to make sure that the drivers and the students are aware. One other thing that they didn't really mention, I asked them about how this would affect Uber Eats, because Uber Eats is like an Uber platform, so would they be delivering to these specific spots and then the students would have to walk over to the stops in order to get food? At this point, they don't know. I guess they're going to go and talk to Uber about it before they implement the new initiative. And then aside from that, we're working with the UCLA Dance and Performance Group community to talk about adequate practice spaces. We're going to be meeting with different administrators over the course of the next couple of weeks within residential life, recreation, transportation, arts and architecture. We're also going to be focusing on the John Wooden Center specifically because of an idea that's been really pushing to restructure 2 of the racquetball courts into a dance studio. So we're going to be focusing on that as well as other potential recommendations to change practice space on campus. We're going to be inviting the administrators to a town hall as well during the fall. I highly encourage you all to attend and show support and solidarity. It's going to be either in parking lot 4 or parking lot 7. So I'll let you know the details as soon as they arise. But it's going to be very early in the fall quarter. And then last thing, we're going to be working with the Council on American Islamic Relations. They host bystander intervention trainings across the nation, and we're trying to bring them here to UCLA. So we've been in contact with them, and we're going to try programming with MSA to host our first bystander intervention training program during the fall. That's all from me. Any questions for Zara? Yeah, sorry.
Would it be better if it was like with the designated stops and the students knew where to go? Or are you trying to argue that it shouldn't be?
It really depends on where the stops are. Like say you're living on the hill and you're a student living in say Reber, and there's no stop by Reber, you would have to walk over to like Deneb, turn around, or like another area in order to receive the food. It makes it a little inconvenient for students. Yeah, especially when it's late. One thing that I was also trying to advocate for is not having this, so like the way the designated stops are going to change is like as soon as you're on campus, the interface is going to change on your phone. So you can only like choose those specific pin locations. So say if it were like 2 or 3 in the morning and you need an Uber to get back home, trying to see if we could like change that interface so it's not present during specific times, but during high traffic times, they would have those designated stops.
Did anyone mention to you how they're planning on communicating these changes to students? I can imagine people are show up and be like, oh, there's 6 spots now.
They said we're going to advertise it. I don't know what advertising it means. They said they're going to have physical signs as well. But if this is going to be implemented during the fall quarter, that's a very quick turnaround for advertising. So I don't know what that's going to look like.
Might be interesting to see maybe how if this change is already in the works, how we can aid.
They seem pretty adamant on just making it go through during the fall. So.
If you ever have some how to use I don't think enough people do that.
We also have ASC scholars here.
Yeah, we should do a lot. Yeah, we should look up things that are like usable advertising.
Any other questions for Zara? Thank you, Zara. We're now going to move to the administrative reps and updates for us. Awesome, great. We are now going to move on to fund allocations, their contingency allocations.
Sure. Last week only one organization applied. Total requested was 528. Yeah, total requested was 528, and FICOM's recommendation was 300.
300.
So 365.
Any questions? Seeing none, we'll now need a motion to approve funding allocation of $365. Second. Saw baby's hand first. Thank you. We're going to go through the vocal roll call. Sorry, Christina. IVP?
Yes.
EVP?
Yes.
Gen Rep 1?
Yes.
AAC? CSC?
Yes.
Facilities?
Yes.
FSC? SWC? And TSR? Ready, guys?
Yes, sorry, I couldn't find the button.
No worries. Seeing as all council members have voted affirmatively, this motion passes and the funding allocation has been approved. We have no old business, no new business, so we'll move on to announcements. Are there any announcements? I believe Suran is going to kick us off with the announcements.
Okay, hi. Sorry, I couldn't make it down the hill. It's a little hectic on the FTSP program. But I wanted to share with you all, I just found this out. Some of you may have heard already, but I'll put this in our group meet so that we can also post it on all of our pages. That tomorrow night, oh, sorry, where is it? USC is standing in solidarity with UVA. You guys heard about that?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Well, they're standing in solidarity tomorrow with UVA at 8 p.m. I think at the Tommy Trojan. I don't even know what that is. But if I get more, I'll share the flyer. But if I get more info, I'll share that as well. But I just thought that might be something that we might want to go to and share. So that's all. But yay. Miss you guys.
More. You can see the whole Bruins and Trojans can't agree on much, but we can agree on combating hate. It's okay. Any other announcements? Yeah, Jim.
I just wanted to bring up, okay, so last year, we as council voters had a Usac reform committee. So like, think about the labs that we're coming up to retreat, there's going to be a portion of our music council-wide initiatives. And so whether or not that means like tapping sort of discretionary or not, I think that's something we should look into is reforming our beautiful city government. So just think about that, and then I'll be adding an agenda item for that and trying to make the committee of students that aren't in Usac or students that aren't represented. So then last year, we really tried to review the Usac. But if anyone has any ideas or if anyone has anyone that's interested, hit me up, and then we put out like student group forums and kind of do the focus group thing over again, and think about it.
Is this specifically about making it a Senate system?
I think it's just like reform in general.
Okay.
Like just like seeing if there are any student needs that aren't being addressed and then how we best address them.
Okay.
It could be a lot of different things. Like it maybe like reform of the best idea, but I think that always looking at an institution and questioning it is never a bad thing. So that's just like the main goal of it. So whether that means that or not, or like more advertisement, like it could be a lot of things. But things like that, creative thinking goes. But yeah, just like keep on learning.
Other announcements?
If y'all didn't see, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you can go first.
Okay, if y'all didn't see the group message, Kava, if you care for brewing card, it's buy one get one free. You should like the UCLA brewing card page on Facebook where you can see more promotional drills regarding brewing cards.
Yeah, David.
Oh, so our office is trying to get the CRC meeting that we talked about last council meeting. We're trying to get that up and running. So we decided that like a convenient time would be like after these council meetings because like that way you guys are like, well, I mean the CRC. I think that's like Aaron, Divya, Nicole, Zara, and Justin, I think, in our office. So we were saying that like we could have it like after these meetings because you guys are like, you know, here in Kirkhoff already. So like, does that work well with everyone, or like, what are you guys' comments on that? Yeah.
Just like having it after council doesn't give it an actual time, like we can go over the
Yeah.
private screen, and like it can take a really long time. So I think that we should have a designated time rather than just do it after council. And I know a lot of students have things to do after council. Me in particular. But I think that didn't Justin send it to?
Yeah, yeah.
So like, just like the best time is after council. Like, what is that? What is that time?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think like before council, because like then we could do a set time? Would that be a better like option for you guys?
Are you trying to set like a consistent weekly meeting for CRC? And it might be interesting, a good idea at least to set one meeting and then see what like the committee direction they want to go in. So
Yeah.
maybe it's like a recommendation. I think before council may be more effective. I think some of us are just tired.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Not like a consistent thing, like a one meeting thing. Like yeah. Just because like because we know that like it's summer, so that like you guys might be commuting from a distance, so like we don't want to inconvenience you guys like too much.
Yeah.
So what are you guys' thoughts on like before council?
I have well, I mean, I just literally got out of work at 7, so I can't necessarily meet. Well, depends like if we're meeting on Thursday. It would depend on which day for council, but that's just for me. I don't want to like speak for anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Thursday would work for you?
No, Thursday would not because
Okay.
I just got out of work at 7, and so I literally like was late because I had like this walk, right? But like that's something that we can discuss like later. That's just like input since you're asking for
Like a Google poll with like a bunch of times, see who's available for that first meeting, and then decide a consistent time after that first meeting.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I think when I spoke to Justin, the trouble with that was that none of the people responded to the Doodle poll when it was out, and I looked at it 2 days ago, and Justin was the only one who had responded.
Everyone responds.
Yeah. maybe the solution is, given that summer is difficult for a lot of us because we have different schedules and not all of us are on campus. Like, I know a lot of us who aren't necessarily on the CRC committee are interested in this reform conversation as well. So maybe we can each even begin by looking at the bylaw section that affects our office directly, because we know that office best, and see what potential changes we might want to make or update, and then set a time for everyone to come together closer to when the school year begins, when everyone's back in Westford, back on campus and able to be here more consistently, and don't have work that they need to get to and other commitments. I'm sure more commitments start when school starts as well. Maybe this is a recommendation of somewhere to begin so that we get the ball rolling, because I understand the sense of urgency, but also not keep those who can't make it to the conversation out of it.
Right, yeah, okay.
Another idea would be to have everyone like look over it now and then having our first meeting after retreat.
We could, but that would also take away from other stuff at the retreat.
Oh, I thought we had actually time. Okay, well.
We need to amend it.
Yeah.
Whether I'm not preference.
I think the ideas are floating around. Maybe you can relay that back and see how we can feel about that, and we can move forward with whatever we decide.
Okay, so were you saying that like Monday before your retreat works well, or like what was?
I think it's really just a matter of time. So like that would be one thing to propose. Maybe Justin can propose that in the group, and we can see who's available at that time as well. But maybe for the time being, because a lot of us are interested, we can recommend that everyone start looking at the bylaws. And if there are areas that you want to improve, we can just, so that the first meeting that CRC has isn't like starting from scratch, but starting from a place of at least a foundation.
Right, okay. Before this council meeting ends though, like I do want to get like at least like a rough time period so that like, you know, the CRC meeting isn't just gonna like never happen like ever. So would somewhere maybe like before 0 week? Would that be like a convenient time for you guys?
Yeah.
So I did a retreat photo. I think 9 people responded, and then like around 8 people are free on Monday before the retreat time. So like September 18th.
September 18th?
Yeah. But we have something planned at night, so could you guys do it in the morning or afternoon?
Maybe like early evening is best, that way like whoever's going to come for that evening part of the retreat anyways is already in the area and probably off work.
Okay. Wait, what day is you guys' retreat?
So let's say tentatively for the sake of this conversation, let's maybe Justin can send out emails to the council saying like 6 p.m. on Monday, September 18th. That way those who are here already and don't have to struggle, and they can still be part of the retreat as well. Does that sound fair?
Okay. All right.
Great. Any other announcements?
Also, just on the topic of that, do we have a Google Doc with our bylaws? Because then you can take a highlight and put all that together. So then when CFC goes through it all, we go, oh, that's how we do that.
I could sort the bylaws into one.
Is it PDF?
It's in a PDF, but there's like a PDF to Word converter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Good luck. Yeah, that was okay. I'm gonna send it out.
Oh, and our office was wondering what the USA discretionary fund would be used for.
So that's something we're going to discuss at the retreat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other announcements? All right, we are going to go into the vocal roll call of attendance before we adjourn. Present, IVP, present, EVP,
Present.
Gen Rep 1, I'm here. Gen Rep 2, Gen Rep 3,
Present.
Thank you. AAC, CEC, CSC, CAC, Facilities, FSC,
Here.
SWC, TSR.
Here.
We'll now entertain a motion to adjourn. Aaron, second.
I second.
There we go, thank you. Give me 1 second to get this done. So vocal roll call once again. IVP. Here. EVP.
Here.
EVP. Gen Rep 1. I'm still here. Great. Gen Rep 3. I'm sorry. AAC.
Yes.
CSC.
Yes.
Facilities.
Yes.
FSC.
Yep.
SWC. And TSR.
Hello.
Great. So seeing as all council members have voted affirmatively, we can formally adjourn the meeting. Goodbye, those on Skype. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
Peace out and blessings.